Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Seeking Truth with Diana. I'm Diana, and today is the second Sunday of Lent. I can't believe we are flying through these seasons. I feel like I blink. I feel like it's Sunday. I blink, boom, it's next Sunday. I feel as if this whole year, this whole semester, everything is just flying by and I cannot set my feet in the ground. I cannot plant my feet in the ground. I don't know if you guys feel like that, but things are just going so fast. It's getting so hard to be just grounded in the now. And it's so hard not to think about what's coming next or what happened already. And I feel like it's the perfect timing for Lent. It's the perfect timing to be forced to sit in our thoughts, be forced to deny ourselves, be forced to appreciate the silence in waiting. Today, I listened to Father Mike Schmidt's homily about the second Sunday of Lent, and he explained how every single moment in life has purpose, has meaning, because every single moment in life is a crossroad. We make decisions every day that either lead us to God or lead us astray from God. And how Lent is that perfect opportunity for us to give up something that has been preventing us from having a close relationship with God. I want to share some of the Lenten goals I set for myself. I printed them out right here. It's so cute. I'm obsessed with doing like cute things on Canva. But I do want to say that this Lent has been extremely difficult. It has been extremely challenging because, long story short, the day right before Lent, my apartment flooded. On Tuesday before Lent, water everywhere. We had to move out. We were in a hotel, big inconvenience. We had to Uber to school. It was a whole thing. Finally, I'm back. Thank God I'm back. But it's crazy because this whole situation happened the day before Lent. And I was talking to my parents and they were saying, well, God's plan. All these challenges come right in the beginning of Lent. And I think Lent is just such a beautiful period in our faith because it teaches us to appreciate the challenges. It teaches us to see the beauty in trials, to actually see the lessons in our hardships, and to be thankful for them and confront them head on rather than running away and being scared. And in order to not run away and be scared, we need to trust God. And that's why Lent exists, because we're trying to imitate Jesus in the desert, resisting temptations. We are denying ourselves also for 40 days with the hopes of getting closer to God. So things that are so common nowadays that prevent us from having an intimate relationship with God is our phones. This little old thing, social media. It's very easy to get lost in the scrolling, the instant gratification, the likes, the comments, the posts. It's almost everyone has a phone now. And we carry this thing everywhere. Everywhere. Like phones were first invented for calling and texting, and now we have these apps that are so amazing because we can see what other people are doing around the world, but they come with a cost. Now, I'm not saying our phones are inherently bad. Like, no, they give us such amazing things. They allow us to do such amazing things, but definitely a very common example of things that could and that have the potential to distract us from what's actually real, what's actually permanent. I was reading I was reading Ecclesiastes. I really hope that's how you say it. Chapters 1 and 2. And Solomon was saying how everything in this world is temporary, and how even though he was given all the wisdom in the world, that he was better than everyone else who came before him in riches and in wisdom, that he still chose to not deny himself of his pleasures. He still chose to sin. And in doing so, he realized that none of this is permanent, that we all come and go, that our time here is temporary, and that the only thing that's actually stable and permanent in our lives is God and his kingdom. And that is what Lent is about. It's about realizing that these things are temporary. It's about realizing that, you know what, in these 40 days, I'm going to give up this thing. I'm going to give up social media so that I can focus on what's actually real and focus on what's not distracting me from God. It was ironic that I set all of these goals. Here, I'll read them for you. It was, well, deleting social media and waking up before the sun rises, getting 8 hours of sleep every night, no screens before and after bed, attending holy hour, praying the rosary, and silence, having periods of silence in the day. And it was just so ironic and sort of like a rude awakening, being completely, what's the word, being displaced for the first week of Lent and trying to follow through with all of these. Let me just tell you in like 2 words, I failed. I failed at keeping these promises that I made to God for this Lent. But something beautiful that Father Mike Schmidt said was that he almost, hear me out, it almost doesn't matter what we previously failed at when every single day gives us the opportunity to get better. When every single day we have the choice to get closer to God or to stray away. It doesn't matter that for the past week I haven't been following these, because I have the choice right now to follow them, to do better. Now, that's not saying like, okay, well, if I can just always do better, I'm just not going to do it today. No, it's about the moment you realize that you could be doing better, you make the choice to do better. Another beautiful thing is that he said it takes one choice to change your life. How every single decision we make every day, we don't know which one it is, but there is one thing that will put us on the right path and that will change our lives forever. And that this Lent, it's not about completely changing the person you were. It's not about overnight suddenly living a secular lifestyle to being a nun or a priest or a brother. It's not about that. It's about every single day in Lent, at least taking one step closer to God, at least trying to set your face in the right direction. And how we're not going to see the fruits of our good choices right away, because God is not a genie in a bottle. We're not going to ask for something. He's not going to give it to us right away. He's always teaching us. There's always lessons in waiting. We learn patience. We learn resilience. We learn to appreciate the silence. And something else that's beautiful about Lent is learning to be comfortable in silence. I know for me, like when I go on drives or I'm doing homework or working out, I almost need to be listening to something because I can't bear to be bored in the silence. But it's a beauty, it's a gift to be comfortable in that silence. It makes you actually sit in your thoughts and think about your relationship with God. It gives you time to actually talk to him instead of distracting ourselves every single moment of the day and being like, I need to listen to music, I need to listen to this podcast, I need to do homework, I can't even sit in this silence. If that's you, then it's a call to at least once a day be comfortable in that silence. It's a beautiful thing learning to appreciate God's creation in a sense. It's a gift to be working out outside without music and listening to the world around us, listening to what's actually here in the moment. I feel like sitting in silence is underappreciated. That actually being forced to sit with nothing else going on around us and being forced to actually live in our minds and in our thoughts, it's so powerful because that's the only way we will truly know ourselves and truly know God. And this Lent, it should be taken as a period where we are taking steps to understanding why we believe what we believe or why we don't believe. It's extremely hard to be alone and experience what's going on inside of your mind. I know for some people, especially with anxiety, when you lay down at night and when everything else in the day is gone and you're finally in bed and you're left alone with your thoughts, it can sometimes be unbearable. It can be unbearable thinking about what you could have done during the day, what you did do, what you wish you did differently. But Lent is all about finding the beauty in that, finding the beauty in our minds, finding the beauty in the challenges that God gives us every day. It's about learning to be comfortable with ourselves and be comfortable in our faith. We can't be comfortable in the silence if we don't take time out of our days to sit in it. Lent is about taking a step towards God every single day, no matter how small the step is. Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." We won't know God and we won't know how He speaks to us if we can't even sit alone in our own thoughts, because God comes to us in our own minds. And if we're not even listening to our minds, how are we supposed to listen to God? Yes, Lent is about self-denial, giving something up for 40 days, but it's not about the act of giving it up. It's about what comes when you give it up. What's the purpose of giving something up? So if this Lent really reflect on what it is that you're giving up and what do you want to come out of you giving this thing up? What is the purpose of choosing to remove this from your life? What good is it going to bring you? And if that question has a good answer, keep on at it. But if you struggle to find what possible fruits will come out of it and how that will strengthen your relationship with God, then maybe it's time to rethink and choose something that is actually hard to give up. Because self-denial is not self-denial if you're giving something up that's easy for you. You need to choose something that you actually struggle with and give that up, because the weight of that struggle is what makes the lessons so much stronger. When you feel that you are actively denying yourself and your wants, your desires that distract you from God, when you feel that you're giving those up, the lessons and the impact that will have on you will be so powerful. So this Lent, we all just have to make sure we're choosing things that we actually struggle with and that we're not just choosing something easy for us. Because then Lent is no longer special. Jesus denied himself for 40 days. No food, no water, resisting the temptations of Satan. And the purpose of Lent is so that we too experience that struggle in our lives and we can mimic and imitate what Jesus went through in hopes of becoming like him in the future. At the end of Lent, we should look back and say, wow, look how I've grown. This is how I've grown. I've grown in this, I've grown in that. This taught me this. But if you're not able to say that after Lent, then you need to spend more time in self reflection. You need to spend more time figuring out what it is in your life that is preventing you from God. So, with that being said, I pray for everyone, and I pray that this Lent will be so fruitful for us. The point is, every moment of every day, when you have the choice to step towards God, you take it. If you fall, okay, move on, next one, next step. Little steps every single day. That's what Lent's about. In moments of struggle, choosing God, that's what it's about. Don't let your failures define Lent. Make one small choice every single day to step towards God, and trust that even these small choices are going to lead you to your Father. Every day is our crossroad moment. Every day we are faced with choosing the right thing versus the wrong thing. And we need to reflect every day on who it is we are trying to be. Luke chapter 9, verse 23, take up your cross daily and follow me. And this Lent, we need to ask ourselves, how can we take up our cross today?